Hello, One Piece enthusiast. I'm the One Piece nerd. Today, let's talk about One Piece chapter 1065. So, the chapter dropped, and my initial reactions to the chapter was very bland after a 2 week break almost. Feels as though we didn't get much of a reveal. I expected a continuation of the Law and Blackbeard fight, and I wanted to see both Egghead and Law and Blackbeard, but I guess that's sort of the main attraction, and I feel like Oda's gonna keep it in his reserves for a very long time. Until maybe we wrap up Egghead, that's when we get to know what happened between Law and Blackbeard, or we get a transition story by how everything connects. But if I've had a second read, I've changed my mind. Let's talk about it. Before we do, make sure to like and subscribe, it helps the channel out a lot. Now that you have, let's begin. So the chapter starts with the reasoning behind why Zoro and Brook were left on the ship with Caribou, and simply because they don't trust the world government. And obviously, just because you see a gorgeous young lady come up to you, say I'm Dr. Vegapunk, and the main Dr. Vegapunk has interest in the Straw Hats, and they're willing to take she's willing to take them to whatever the headquarters and for world government territory, you wouldn't want to trust them. So it's a very good reasoning for both of them, and I keep forgetting that Caribou's on the ship. So Caribou's finally been released. Obviously for what he did, he deserved some sort of a break, because he's been through quite a lot. He's still a jerk though. Okay, they're gonna let them go. Zoro and Brook's gonna let him go right now because they have no use for him, but in a world government territory, Caribou, it's very dangerous, but obviously he's going to get it out alive. Remember, he has a lot of intel. He knows about Luffy's true dream. He knows about Pluton. He knows about Poseidon. He knows about a lot of lore and a lot of history while he was hanging out with the Straw Hats. And suffice to say, he doesn't look like much, but he's gonna do something pretty big. Something significant to the point where I feel like Blackbeard will get an upper hand on Luffy when they inevitably get to battle. And with that out of the way, we go back to Egghead Island. We see Nami and the others, and Nami looking gorgeous, by the way. Robin too, because why not? And so with everything in the middle, from Seraphim Jinbei to the Vegapunks experimenting on the Seraphims, and apparently Seraphims have names, and Jinbei's name is Shark, so okay. And it's Seraphim 4. If Jinbei's there, I suspect Doflamingo's there as well. Maybe even Blackbeard, maybe even Law. I'm just so excited to see how many Seraphims they have. And they said that it's at the baby stage, or at the blooming stage, or whatever you want to call it. And I feel like this is not even their ultimate potential. But with the world government trying to assassinate Dr. Vegapunk, I have very few reasonings to believe that Seraphims would be much of an asset for the world government, because the Seraphims aren't quite as well developed that we thought that the world government needs them to be. So if they just finish off Vegapunk right now, they have no updates on the Seraphim, but what happens at the end of the chapter, I think it justifies enough reasoning for them to assassinate Dr. Vegapunk. Before that, the whole thing with Seraphim Jinbei looks the same as usual, only thing different from the Mihawk and the Boa Seraphim. Jinbei has the swim fruit. I don't know how. Swim fruit. I have no idea how it happened. Like, I don't know how you do it. Maybe, how do you feed a robot a devil fruit? I mean, you could feed devil fruits to inanimate objects. Maybe robots aren't that different. And maybe this is something else. A level beyond artificial devil fruits. If Caesar can come up with artificial devil fruits, Vegapunk can come up with a lot more. So it's very intriguing that they would come up with something like this, where not only are we gonna model Seraphims after the previous warlords and get their genes, but we're going to add something more extra, like the Lunarian genes and even like artificial devil fruits to make themselves stronger. And this is just the initial phase. Imagine what would happen if you give Vegapunk like 7 to 8 years and he'd turn them into monsters. Pacifistas were literally nothing for a creation of this level. With that being said, I also like the fact that the Vegapunks are taking advantage of the Straw Hats while they're there. I mean, from what it looks, Shaka is definitely not hostile towards the Straw Hats. He genuinely wants to talk with them. But what's funny is the other Vegapunks want to do experiments on them, on the Seraphims, just to see how much stronger they can be, or what to modify, what to improve, and see how it performs. I was very intrigued by all of their personalities. And now that I see most of them in function, it would make sense as to why you would create six other bodies, so that it can do one thing, can specialize in one special function, and that basically utilizes your time the most. Like, rather than you waste your time eating, you'd rather do something with research, or you'd rather come up with a new invention. And rather than sleeping, which wastes a lot of time in our lives, you'd obviously want someone else to do it for you, so that you have time on your hands to do more things. And with each of the different Vegapunks having different functions, and basically categorizing all the models according to their jobs and specific distinctions, it actually make a lot of sense, and from a business perspective as well, from an entrepreneur perspective, what am I talking about? But hey, what I'm trying to say is, it makes sense for a smart guy like Vegapunk to basically create separate entities that basically does some redundant functions that waste your time, rather delegate it to someone else that can do better. Anyways, that's beside the point. I really like them. I'm very interested to see a lot more. And remember, we haven't seen Atlas and the other one yet. I don't remember their names, who were with Luffy and Bonnie. We didn't get to see them. Nami and the others didn't get to see them. And let's talk about Jinbei Seraphim for a bit. It was strong. It was definitely strong. Is it stronger than the Mihawk and the Boa Seraphim? I'd say not really, because again, these are unevenly matched. We didn't get to see full extent of their powers, and nor do we get to see an equal opponent for them, or a proper one-on-one fight that we could judge and say that, they're very strong, stronger than, pacifistas. I want to believe they're stronger than the pacifistas, because it gave Beard a run for his money a little bit. And same here with Jinbei. Obviously, 4 Straw Hats ganging up on one Seraphim, would it be able to win? I want to see how it fares against Sanji or Zoro. Luffy's definitely gonna win, but Sanji and Zoro would be a very good test for them to see if they're Yonko commander levels. Unlikely, but you don't need to go up against Yonkos. You just need to go up against ruffians and pirates alike. You don't need much. Anyways, the swim food is very interesting. I wonder how he got it, and it's a complete replica, so maybe Dr. Vegapunk has more replicas of devil fruits than we know about. With all that being said and done, I want to talk about the end of the chapter. It's been speculated for a while now that the Void Century, or the Ancient Kingdom, was a very advanced civilization, much civilized than what we have right now, way better than us, and after history was removed, and when a war happened, everything was shut to rubble. Because honestly, from a war perspective, it makes sense. If 2 countries, for example, are on war on a day-to-day basis, on a year-to-year basis, obviously the technology that you would have would deteriorate, because you're running on resources, and you'd want to destroy any advancement that the opposite country had. I don't know how the world government won the fight against the Ancient Kingdom, but the Ancient Kingdom had science much higher than what Vegapunk does. And obviously, as the world government, you don't want these technologies to exist. That would basically prove the existence of the Ancient Kingdom, which definitely they don't want. It's a very good speculation for people that actually speculated and made theories on it. I actually love it a lot. And finally a confirmation that the Ancient Kingdom, now you know a little bit about the Ancient Kingdom. I'm very interested to see what Robin has to say to this. Like, Robin, from what we know, she knows a lot about before the Void Century and after the Void Century. What actually happened in that one specific century, we need to know. Like, what actually happened? I don't think Dr. Vegapunk knows everything, but he knows quite a lot. Not as much as we expect, but definitely more than we think, just like I said before. And this makes perfect sense as to why the Marines would want to, assassinate him. And suffice to say, this isn't much of a hint, but it can take us to very interesting places within the arc. And this can be one of the most entertaining, shortest arc we ever had. Even more than Reverie, I would say. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe. Have a great day, and peace.